Yeah, we wanted to see where we were at in comparison to a top 10 team. And I think we found out we are a couple rebounds shy, a little bit of effort shy. Again, we can't continue to get out-rebounded or outworked in the glass, and we got to put 4 quarters together and play with a sense of urgency.
Questions would start with Rhea.
Coach, you had mentioned you would find out how close you were or what you needed to do. Part of it, you weren't doing some of the things you do really well as you typically do. And then part of it, you probably saw things, okay, we clearly have to get better here. Was it kind of a mix of both? And what are those things?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I mean, our offense was not flowing first quarter. Really, the first half, our offense didn't look very good. And so just try to make those adjustments quicker. And then just toughness, just playing hard. I mean, if we play like we did the fourth quarter or the last 5 minutes of that game for 4 quarters, then we win pretty big. And the reason we substitute the way we do is to play like that. And we have to play like that, and we haven't been.
This is for everyone. You addressed third quarters as being an issue after Thursday's game. What's it going to take to get going after halftime in the future?
Yeah, I don't know. If I knew, we wouldn't keep having bad third quarters.
The final play of the game, is that how you drew it up? Was there an effort to get it to either Jewel or Talisha? Kind of, did you want it to end with Sarah? Just how did that all come down?
No, that's not how it is how we drew it up, but Sarah was wide open. So if you're wide open and you have a wide open 3, take the 3. And so you're not going to get a much better shot than that. Sarah's in the gym all the time. She was wide open. So even though it wasn't the play, it was a great shot. It was a high percentage shot. I'm fine with it. Didn't come down to that play. It came down to the 38 minutes before that.
Jewel, this team could have easily folded in that third quarter, but you guys clawed your way back in the game. What do you feel like you learned about the team's mentality and just the next step for you guys?
That we don't quit, no matter how much we're down by. Coach has preached, time and time again, whether you're up 20 or down 20, you have to play hard. And what we saw in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter is what we have to do the whole game.
Jewel, just what was going so well for you tonight, particularly down the stretch, hitting some big shots?
I think just being aggressive, being confident, coming off the ball screens, and reading the defense. If they stepped out, looking for my teammates. If they dropped back, looking for my shot. And then just my teammates finding me, Sam finding me when I got hot. And I think the main thing was just having confidence.
Kim, you said, you wish you'd played better in their first 3 quarters. Was a lot of that, though, due to Oklahoma? I mean, it's a really good team.
Yeah, it's a great team. I think that they did a really good job on us on defense. I still think we could have worked the ball around a little bit more to make our offense look a little better. I think our shot selection was tough, and part of that is their defense, and part of that is just us.
Samara, what did you see on, the offensive end for you guys when it looked like at times you guys struggled to just kind of get the ball moving against Oklahoma? Was there anything in particular that you felt like they were doing well to kind of keep your guys' offense off balance?
No discredit to them. They're a good team, but we cause a lot of the problems for ourselves because, we just stand and watch each other do things. I think it's just more so about, we don't really know what each other's going to do, so we just stand and, wait for something to happen. But in all reality, it's the movement that makes things happen. So we just have to do a better job of, you're standing in a place for, 2 or more seconds, you probably should be moving. And I think that that's just the biggest thing we have to work on in practice day in and day out.
Coach, with the offensive rebounding tonight, what was the difference between today's game and prior games where you were able to be more successful?
Part of it is effort. I think for the first 3 minutes of the game, I didn't see one person crash. And that kind of comes to pace a little bit. The first 3 minutes of that game, they were rough, right? They were up and down. We were a little bit tired. We couldn't get our subs in quick enough. But they do a phenomenal job boxing out. They're the best defensive rebounding team in the country. So I think we just needed to work a little bit harder to get around them. Because the game plan was to crash, not to run back. And a lot of teams probably run back because of their transition. And when we did crash and we were matched up, make or miss, we got something great out of our press.
How would you evaluate what you got in the post defensively against Reagan Beers and some of Oklahoma's post players?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the film. I do think we had some letdowns, a couple fouls. We didn't want any and ones, and those are momentum killers, and we had some at the rim with Beers and everyone. I mean, just multiple positions where again, in a 1-point game, we talked about it before the game. If you choose to sit behind them, you're going to get scored on, and it's going to cost us a game. Flat out said it on the scout. And we're going to go back and look at the film and see how much we were fighting to try to get in front.
Oklahoma was really able to capitalize in transition in the first half, and it felt like there were times when the team just couldn't get its footing, defensively, or they were just getting down the court immediately in transition. Did you see anything that was kind of leading to the snowballing in that first half?
Yeah, and it happened a lot in the third quarter too. We just wouldn't get matched up, so we were just turning around, as opposed to let's get matched up, let's get a turn. We weren't doing that. We were turning around right around midcourt, and then we weren't able to scramble back in the back. We were stuck, just stuck.
Jewel, what do you think it says about the team's effort, resiliency? I know that's a word we've mentioned a couple of times, but to bring this down to a 1-point game, obviously the fans got pretty loud towards the end too. What does that say about this team's focus to be able to pull that part off?
Like I said, I think we just have to be focused the whole game. We can't wait until the fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes, to turn the switch on. We have to be locked in for 40 minutes, and we know that now. We saw it today, so we just got to learn from that.
Samara, you've been through the rigors of the SEC. So is Jewel. It obviously doesn't get any easier. LSU coming in next. How do you guys sort of regroup and learn from this, but then again get ready for another top 10 team?
We can't play the game over again, so not dwelling on the loss, but taking the things that we didn't do well and making sure that in the next game that we play, we do those things well so that there's a better outcome.
Kim, it feels like a lot of some of these problems just maybe it's a mental discipline sort of thing. I guess what's kind of the step to fix that, where it's things like you said, like not matching up in transition, or just there was some unforced turnovers. Just how do you kind of approach that as for the team with a quick turnaround?
Yeah, I think you got to watch the film. Like Sam said, you got to watch the film. You got to fix it, and they got to be open to fixing it. We can't continue to make the same mistakes, especially with our turnovers. A lot of our turnovers come from just not playing off 2 feet or trying to make the same move or trying to drive through traffic and take too many bounces, which we said, showing them on film. And again, in a 1-point loss, if they're not ready to sit there and watch the film and take accountability and say, I need to fix this because this just cost us a game, then there's not a lot of hope for us. But I'm hoping that they'll look at the film and they'll take it seriously and they'll make a focused effort to change those things.
Kim, the other day you were talking about how sometimes, you'll lose games where you play harder and you just kind of have to take it. Was this one of those games, or is it more frustrating, the things that didn't go well?
Yeah, I don't think we played harder than them.
Yeah, for the players, because of the way you play, the style you play, the way you substitute, are you confident going into the fourth quarter that you're going to have the upper hand?
Yes, I mean that's what we focus on the whole entire game, is to wear them down so that in the fourth quarter we have that compounding effect. I feel like because we didn't do what we needed to do in the beginning of the game, the first 3 quarters, there wasn't really a compounding effect in the end. I mean, we did come back and win, but had there been pressing us, making sure that we got matched up, making sure that we got turns, making sure that we limited our turnovers, the outcome of the game would have been different.
Coach, you've said you can have much more of teaching moments from a loss. I know you're still digesting this game, but what do you think are some of the primary teaching moments you're going to point out for your team?
Yeah, I'm hoping that they will take the box out seriously now. I'm hoping that they will understand that in big games, every possession matters. And because we have so many possessions, in some of our other games, every possession didn't matter. And we played like that. And that can't continue to translate into the SEC. And we're going to pick all of those apart on film.
This is for both Jewel and Samara. As veterans, senior leaders on this team, Kim's just talking about you guys, watching film. People are going to have to take accountability. How do you guys kind of approach that as leaders to make sure that message reaches the whole team?
Just before we go to film, making sure everybody's taking notes and actually paying attention, and taking accountability. No pointing fingers. We're all in this together. You see the mistake, just fix it. So I think accountability is a big thing, but also going into practice, like Sam said, we can't dwell on this loss, but we have to learn from it and make sure that we don't make the same mistakes.